Hello, and welcome to Depth Perception. We discuss movies and dive into how films direct the way that we experience them. We create a perception of sound, a perception of sight, with a dimension of mind. We move into a land of both shadow and substance, of themes and ideas. This is Mr. Vozly.
This here is the K-Max.
Who am I again? Tin Man.
Tinder Man. Tinder Man, which...
Swipe right. I don't know.
I don't know which way is which in that thing.
Right is...
Is right good?
Right is right.
Right is the accepting.
Right is rain.
Right is rain.
So that leads us into Season 3, Episode 14, brought to you by the word, relationships. So in the past, we've had chapters on marriage, and most recently rom-com, but I think this is something different still. I'm talking before marriage, before someone has set an official commitment to another partner. Rom-com, at least in the context that we discussed, was focused around the genre and its target audience. This episode has more to do with how movies present relationships themselves. And I do mean romantically, because, spoiler alert, friendship is a future chapter. To help give this chapter structure, I'm using one of the most influential movies about relationships ever, Casablanca. Casablanca explores the ups and downs and romanticism of relationships, both the realism and the fantasy, and of course, their monumental impact on a person's outlook on life. So when I give each talking point, it will be represented by a specific scene or quote from this movie.
Oh my goodness.
Have you guys seen Casablanca before?
Oh, yes.
All right.
I've seen it once in 10th grade.
Ooh, okay.
Seen it. I own it. My buddy Louis Bean, who owns Hilla Bean's coffee shop, his entire coffee shop is themed of Casablanca and
Nice.
Youngstown there.
Is it called Café Américain?
Hilla Beans.
Oh,
Yeah, but it's got the nice thing though, like it's not worth a hill of beans. You know what I mean? From the movie.
Ah. All right. So here, and I'll explain each of these when we get to them, but here are the talking points.
Ding 'em.
Oh, my first miss.
It's all right.
It's all right.
It's all right. It happens
It's
to
all
all.
right. Hey, it's okay.
Happens to all.
You're getting a little older. And you're on meds.
It's true. I got off them last week. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Oh.
Ow.
That
one hurt.
Yeah, it's a vengeful.
Came back with
Came back with a vengeance. Shut it through burnt teeth.
First talking point. We'll always have Paris.
Oh, I love that.
Rick's Café Américain. As time goes by.
Oh.
Letters of transit. Play the Marseille. No, wait, Marseille.
Hey, attaboy.
Marseille.
Stop it.
And here's looking at you, kid.
Man, this is going to be great.
So keep in mind, this isn't a movie episode, but I am using Casablanca to kind of outline how we talk about relationships. Our first, actually, you know what? Any expectations on today from you guys?
Well, they changed a little bit for me, hearing the Casablanca framework. And I'm a little bit more excited.
Yeah.
I think I'm prepared for the general relationship discussion chat. I think I did my homework there. But now that you put another layer on it, I'm a little bit more excited. My senses are heightened.
Yeah, these curveballs make us...
I like it. Keep us on our toes.
Yeah.
You can't dig into the batter's box and wait for a fastball.
Right.
He's going to throw off speed. He might throw off speed.
I'll admit something. I watched Casablanca today fully for the first time. Other than that, I've only seen like the bits and pieces of it.
Yummy though, right?
Yes, I loved it.
Yes, you did.
And obviously to the point where I felt it needed an immediate impact on the pod.
My.
So our first talking point, we'll always have Paris.
I can't even stop it.
So in Casablanca, there's this line, we'll always have Paris. And it references the time that Rick and Ilsa spent together and the memories that they can revisit but can never return back to. in this discussion, I'm using it to refer to how we see the romanticism of past relationships. The good parts are remembered, but there's little actual depth to those relationships. There's the flashback when Rick and Ilsa are together in Paris, and he asks her what she was doing 10 years ago. And she says that she was getting a brace. Was it a brace? She was getting her teeth straightened. So implying that she was very young. And then he says that he was looking for a job. So already it shows you there's a little gap there, right? Mm-hmm. And he doesn't know anything about her. And they play into that throughout the movie. It's like, oh, well, we didn't even know anything about each other. Turns out she was married this whole time, right? But they recall the infatuation and the excitement of a new ideal, quote, love. The relationship wasn't sustainable, but the memories are romanticized. So, before we go any further, is there any clarification needed on the idea of romanticized?
Is there any clarification needed?
Right, like we understand what romanticized means?
I think I do.
Okay. Yes, there's clarification needed, or yes, you're good with it?
Both. No. No, I think we'll be all right.
Okay.
We'll see when you go. And that's not what we were looking for, Tin Man.
So I'll ask, do you guys recall seeing any examples of this romanticism in movies then?
I say plenty of. You're talking. When you say romanticism, we're not talking about like societal romanticism, like before the white man came here, all natives lived in peace, and that kind of romanticism.
It could be. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, you see a lot of that in movies. Like it's just accepted that. It was this perfect society, but then this came in and corrupted it. And when history tells us that that's just not the case,
right?
Right. You romanticize a memory that maybe you were just having with friends, and then it just gets fond, or maybe even your high school, your glory days, and you forget that you really were a bench warmer who got some time. Little personal here for me. And you got, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, this and that and this, and it just gets romanticized. You remember all the clean of it, and you don't remember the filler of it.
Right.
And I think that happens, if we're all honest, it happens across settings sometimes.
I know, like, for us, a lot of times you talk about sports a lot. I know, K-Max, you've mentioned this before, but like lacrosse, oh yeah, I did this and that.
Yeah.
And like you said, kind of omitting key parts or kind of glossing over anything really negative and playing up the good parts that you do remember.
Yeah.
So when it comes to movies with relationships, do you recall any specific examples or any feelings, just in general, like memories of like how you think relationships are portrayed? And to kind of lead us a little bit, I think this is where we find the idea of fantasy. So Tin Man, you mentioned the concept of fantasy when we talked about Hallmark movies. That kind of distracted you a little bit because there was, like we just talked about, there's only the good things and never really any obstacles or conflict. It was just too perfect.
Yeah.
So I guess that kind of coincides here too, where this idea of fantasy and romanticism playing with each other here.
Okay.
So I can give you guys a movie to start off with.
Yeah, give us an example. Give us something where you can.
So Grease.
Okay.
So the memory that we see to start the movie is them playing on the beach together.
Yeah.
And just kind of having fun, not a care in the world, not even really conversing, just having picturesque memories of being in the water, or feet in the water, toes in the sand, throwing sand at each other, watching the sunset together. Not really anything more than that. Mm-hmm. But they sing about that when, I forget the name of the songs, but they're on the bleachers singing about it, and she's on lunch. Yeah. And she's in lunch, and they're singing about each of their memories about being with one another. And it was kind of like the picture, the very like essence of romanticized like summer fling, right? Of there isn't a word spoken. It's just a memory together, and it turns out to be a lot more throughout the movie. But that's the scene you get right there of like romanticized
Okay.
relationship.
Okay. So that's our.
I
so
get the
that's our
framework
good
there, 'cause
example.
I think of like there's La La Land. I think of our film that we watched recently, Sweeney Todd, when they have that little dream sequence of them being off as a family.
Oh yeah.
I think of
yeah,
that as
that's a
very
good
clearly
one,
like a
yeah.
romanticized, like this picture where it's just so hokey compared to the rest of the black and white, dark,
Yeah.
macabre. It's this whole thing, and even in that, he's kind of like not interested.
That's a great example because
Yeah.
it certainly doesn't match the world that they're in.
Right. But the idea of it, and I think movies do use that. I think good movies use that to their advantage. To kind of romanticize something.
Yeah, I will go with The Last Duel.
Oh,
So in that one, you get a character's point of view of the story, and then in that one, he's the good guy, and this is all against him or whatever. Then you get a different person's point of view, and it turns out he's not, and he's using the female.
Oh,
Then you get the
that's cool.
female's point of view where she's being used, and
That's interesting.
It's all once you kind of get everyone's point of view, you're like, no, none of you guys are good, or this girl is the only one who's good, and she's being used this whole time. Like that's, but it's everyone's version of their truth kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
that'd be one I could use, I think, because in their own head, they're the heroes of their own story in their head.
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
thing.
another
cool.
one that we watched, Mamma Mia. I mean, the whole spin on having 3 possible baby daddies within the span of a couple weeks is pretty rough. But you watch the movie
No,
and everything is
we'll cut this out.
fine.
I am so sorry, but you got to see this play that Caleb Williams makes on 4th and 4 of the season.
Hi, this is future Mr. Vozly. We were recording during the LA Rams and Chicago Bears game when we were so rudely interrupted by a game-winning 4th and 4 touchdown score by the Bears, and we reacted as such. Now back to your regular programming. So, Mamma Mia. The idea that she could have 3 possible baby daddies in the span of like a couple weeks, and we're just kind of glossing over the implications of all that, and kind of like, yeah, it's all fine.
Hey, we're not,
Like,
we're
like
not
the whole
slut-shaming.
the whole movie was like a romanticized, depiction of that scenario. I got American Pie 2. He's been.
Remember American Pie 2.
They have.
Are they working on a house?
Yes.
Okay.
And the whatever her name is, Shannon Elizabeth's character, he is working up to the opportunity to be with her again. So he spends like the whole summer like preparing and remembering her. And then when the time finally comes, he realizes like how empty that whole thing was, right? And he finds the other person to spend his time with.
Oh, because he practices with her, right?
Yeah,
That's what it is?
with
Okay.
Allison Hannigan,
Yep.
the band geek.
Band nerd, yeah.
You like this one? I got Ghostbusters 2.
What? Winston.
He's Vigo.
It's Vigo. It's Vigo.
But you had Bill Murray had already broken up with Sigourney Weaver's character to start the movie. And they had already lived different lives. And he spends the first 3/4 of this movie trying to kind of win her back a little bit or just be involved in her life. And their interactions with each other were kind of like, well, you weren't, you were never here, you were whatever. So she always had a different view of what their relationship was compared to him. And he thought like it was like perfect,
Yeah, okay.
Did you guys see Her?
Nope.
I don't think so.
Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah. I'll skip that one then. How about Snow Day?
Snowden. I've seen Snowden.
Snowden.
Is that Snow Pups?
Well, Snow Day is like one when I was a kid, it came out. It was like a Nickelodeon movie, and there's like a snow day, and our main character is trying his hardest to get the attention of his crush, but he has. You can probably guess what happens as soon as I say this, but he has a friend that's a girl that's helping him to do this. And Tin Man's just nodding his head. Mm-hmm. We've seen this one before. Yep. But he does all these gestures to try and win his crush over. And in the end, you figure, he has the realization that that's all just empty, and everything that he wants to actually experience is already with his friend. So in a lot of these cases, it's romanticizing even the possibilities of a relationship, and maybe not even the relationship itself.
The Wrong Missy? Very similar to that one.
Tell us about it.
What's your number? Same thing. Where The Wrong Missy, where he meets this girl, she seems perfect. They actually accidentally swap books or swap bags at the airport, swap books. They make out a little bit. They both don't drink. The one girl she's very pretty. It's David Spade. Mm-hmm. Meets with her. They make out. They go to different places, and he saves her number. Just prior to that, he was on a blind date with someone, Melissa, also Missy or whatever, and has her number in the phone, and it goes horribly wrong. Horrible date. She's crazy. It's awful. He messages the wrong Melissa because they have a trip or whatever. It's like a company retreat. They're all going to Hawaii or something like that, and then the wrong Missy shows up at the airport. No. So this perfect person that I met at the airport last time was supposed to be the one going. Mm. Comes to find out that this crazy girl brings out the best in him.
I think I saw that. What is that called?
We watched it when we were golfing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah. When we went to that golf trip, we watched that one. Yeah.
Oh, okay, you're like, that's why.
Yeah. That golf trip.
But that was one romanticized relationship possibilities.
Yeah, because they circled back to it at the end of oh, this isn't actually what I want.
Mm-hmm.
I think also most movies that have any theme of unrequited love has some of that. One of the characters has that romantic notion, or that they romanticize what it is, and it's not even that. Mm. And then the other person is just almost like, no, we never were that. And that's what makes a lot of romantic movies work, like rom-coms work, because one person's like, oh man, this is going the way I love the way this is going, and I'm expecting this. The other person never sees it. Like, what are you talking about? Mm-hmm. So there's a romanticizing it that one person does, and you're like, no, that's not what this ever was. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then it becomes unfair to the person. And then hijinks ensue.
Oh, yeah.
It's unfair to the person that we all hate as an audience, because you're like, man, this poor guy's pouring his heart over here and loves you and is willing to do all this for you. And it's like, but I never signed on to it, and that's never what this was. Mm. Yep.
I also had, last one I'll bring up is Titanic. It was, one night that Rose had with Jack, and she left her fiancé for him, had one night of fun, and 80 years later is still thinking about this guy, and still kept the jewel or necklace, whatever it was, as a symbol of
mm-hmm.
those memories.
Yeah.
And it's like, really? That the one night where you danced and made love in a
car?
In a car?
Yeah.
And that was enough to be like, oh, best night of my life.
He drew like one of his fancy French girls. Too.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't forget that. But I think of even a movie like this is the one that I get in trouble with my friend, Forrest Gump. Mm. Like his idea of what his perfect life was didn't change for all her jackassery, but then all of a sudden I'm hook, line, and sinker, but my friend and others were like, no, that's not enough. It's not real. Mm. You don't come in just when you need him, when you've sown your wild oats worldwide, and all of a sudden you need someone to take care of your kid because you're dying.
Oh, did I see you on the cover of the Fortune magazine for Bubblegum?
Yeah, right. Oh, wait a minute here.
Wait, he's a multi-millionaire.
Aren't you a multi-millionaire? Because I think that too. Again, I fight it a lot because I love the movie and I want to be right. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, yeah, that's right. That is kind of slimy. And
I don't disagree.
He's developmentally delayed. He's a little challenged, so he doesn't see things. He doesn't have that angle, that worldliness about him. So one might think she's taking full advantage of him. You know?
I mean, when he did show up to meet her, he was like, she said, you don't have to do anything.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
she
true.
just wanted him to see his daddy.
Right.
Guess, but I'm going to hide him from you for about 4 years.
Right. Seriously.
You did nothing wrong. You got a ton of money, but I didn't want to come show you your son.
But it's funny because that's what me and my friend had that same argument. And I'm like, but in his head, it was exactly what he wanted. Anyway, I'm digressing here, but I think that's a nice unrequited love there, or he's...
See, that's the problem. We're all not dumb enough to really enjoy life.
I'm dumb enough, all right.
I'm enjoying it just fine.
Yeah. I think life is awesome. Me like lots of things.
Like
shiny things.
Life good.
Ooh.
Why use many word when less word do better?
See, right there. Are you saying see the world? Or are you saying see world? Not our first office reference this episode, by the way. All right. Tin Man, hit me with a...
Ding.
Also ring the bell.
Rick's Café Américain. So, the saloon that Rick owns in Casablanca. This is where we first meet Rick, and it's a place that he is insistent is neutral. He doesn't stick his neck out for anyone, right? There's no favorites, no friends, no drinking with customers. He tries to be as neutral as we can. And not feeling or responding to anything, emptiness, seems like hopelessness, seems like withdrawing emotionally. I'd say that this is the place of depression. A metaphor for how Rick feels about life at that current moment. And ever since Ilsa left him at the train station. So this, for our discussion, is the pit of depression we feel like we can fall into after an end of a relationship. So what I want to kind of dive into here is, where do we see characters depressed in movies after a failed relationship? Do we recall seeing that anywhere?
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. So where do we see characters get depressed in movies after failed relationships? What kind of... Do we recall any examples?
Something about Mary. He's crying, ugly crying on the boardwalk. That's as depressed as it comes. Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
Just sobbing and snotty. And I use that as a ism, by the way, now. Ugly crying like Ben Stiller on Something About Mary. Just so distraught. If you think about it, I think there's a lot of good hurting movies after a relationship where they're just... I like those feel movies, and I'm just trying to recall some right now to get them fresh.
Because there's a lot of them where they want to try and do something about it, but there's... I'll bring up these two examples. I've only got two aside from Casablanca, where there's no other feelings out. There's no other motivations. That's just you're in a pit of despair. There's no nothing. There's no gumption to do anything. There's no reaction. You're just feeling empty, feeling blah, feeling hopeless.
Bar? Am I pick a movie?
If
Crazy Stupid Love, where he's at the bar.
Okay.
Got Steve Carell. Just talking about David Lindhagen the whole time. Just kind of being sour constantly. Just complaining to everybody. Anyone who will listen.
So I mentioned despair made me think of I'm in a glass case of emotion.
Yeah, I was thinking that same thing.
So Anchorman. I think that's another one where he's just drinking milk
Well, I think and one that always comes to mind is one of my favorite movies is La La Land. There's a whole moment where she comes in with her new husband to his bar, to his jazz club, and everything goes through his mind. There's like this whole 5-minute montage of him thinking of how life would have went had he committed to her, had he gone a certain way. And then it zooms back into him playing this song that he used to play for her. It zooms back into that. And he just kind of gives her a nod as she's leaving with her husband. She's leaving and he just kind of like nods like, I'm happy for you. But like, it shows the anguish that it has of his regret. But then in that little montage at the end of it, playing that song like, okay, I got to let her go. Mm. But you just see him consumed with what that is, like after that. And then I think of one of the ones that was on my list was 500 Days of Summer.
I see that. Yeah, I remember.
And that's the unrequited love too. Like it's like he wanted it to be something. He's like, this is perfect. You're perfect for me. We love the Smiths. We all these things in common. And she just never saw it, It's not her fault. She didn't see it.
Spider-Man 3.
Ooh, hit us.
Emo Tobey Maguire.
Pointing at people in the street.
Yeah. I'm going to dance, point, shoot out the finger guns. Play piano, dance like crazy, and make her regret her decisions.
Right.
Take that.
I had Beauty and the Beast.
I thought a little bit about that, but I was like, I'm not going there.
Yeah, it's not like they were in an official relationship, but it still hurt just the same when Beast has the realization of how much she means to him, and him doing the right thing of letting her go. And you can see that depression where there's no reaction to anything. There's no emotion when Gaston and the mob come to his castle and he's hunting him on the roof, and he's beating him up and kind of just ridiculing the Beast while he's doing it, and the Beast is just kind of so to see, you see just how much of an impact that Belle had on him at that point.
Okay.
Where he didn't even want to go. He didn't have the ambition
care.
to he didn't even defend himself.
No. And I had Moulin Rouge. Have you guys seen that?
I have.
I have not.
So when Ewan McGregor's character has to let, what's her name in the movie? Satine.
Yep.
When he's got to let her do her thing as a courtesan and woo the guy into funding the play or whatever, you can see it's one of my favorite songs in a musical, the Roxanne bit. Where it's just like you feel helpless, feel hopeless, and he's just watching from below as he knows what's going on or what's about to go on in the room above him. So yeah, we see a few people depleted emotionally by these relationships. So I wanted to ask you guys, is this more of a realistic view on actual relationships?
I think after, there's all kind, right? I mean, I think even a good relationship that goes south, you're left wondering, you're left what could have, you're left considering. If you don't have the proper support, it could be a really nasty spiral, I think. Regardless of how it ended or why it ended, you could be in this really a spiral that's
glass case.
Even honestly, and even it's hard to define because it could be no one's fault. It could just be that it didn't work out. And very often the person who makes the call that this isn't working is probably the brave one in some ways. And yet they're like, you're the reason why this isn't working. You know what I mean? Like, this didn't work because you didn't want it to work. And maybe that person's the brave one saying, this isn't good. This isn't going to work out. I mean, but regardless of the why, there's always going to be some moments, especially for the person who didn't make the call, the person who's left there holding the bag saying, I'm still burning a candle for this person. You're gonna be left in a distraught place, looking at your phone. You know what I mean? I believe that.
I feel like the movies do a good job of because I feel like a lot of people just carry that in their head. Like it doesn't come out like it does in the movies, but it's got to be displayed one way or another on screen. So I feel like a lot of times they have them do stuff that describes how they feel. Like, I don't know. Like, I've never felt like walking around like Spider-Man and like, hey, I'm going to point at every girl that I see and try to, like, I feel like that, but I don't think I was acting like that. I think a lot of people go like, just put more time between that instance and now, and it gets better. But in your head, that's kind of how you feel. I don't think it's a movie. You can't really just show ideas.
I mean, a big one that I think if I had to have a movie too, I'd say The Great Gatsby. Like his pining for something that was never real, and then she kind of bought into it because it was so glamorous and it was so. But she really never. I mean, it was never really returned.
Yeah. And
he just romanticized it in his head to a point where everything in his life was about wooing her back.
Yeah.
Because he's like, and even sometimes he's like, no, you got it wrong, old sport. You got it wrong. She loves me. See, she never loved you, Tom. She never loved you. She wants me, don't you? And he almost got abusive about it. And speaking of abusive, I got to throw Twilight up there too because, it's this romantic love story, but at the same time, it's control and almost abusive in my opinion. Like, watching her saying, I've been watching you. I don't want you hanging out with that guy. It's terrifying that way. When she's like seeing Jacob or whatever and they're being friends and he's like, I don't like it. And he almost like yells at her and gets like violent about it almost,
Well, he is like 100 years older than her. He probably knows better. You know how those natives can get. Right? And werewolves in check.
Yeah. Having all those wild wolves.
I think, is this more of a realistic view on actual relationships? I feel like, for me personally, I don't think I have enough experience in like devastating breakups to know if it portrays that as such. Like in Casablanca, you got this guy that has no positive reaction or negative reaction to anything because he's just been so depleted of feeling.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've hit that before. Now, I wanted to ask you guys this earlier, but I'll do it now. Do you think it's a good thing that movies romanticize relationships?
I think they have to in a certain sense for appeal's sake. Otherwise, I think otherwise there's not. You need to have contrast, right? You need to build likable characters, and you need to have enemies. You have to have an antagonist and a protagonist, and without romanticizing things, because love is complicated. I believe that, and love is nuanced. So, it might be hard for the audience to get the nuance of a character unless you really romanticize at least one perspective of that relationship. You know what I mean? Unless you we don't feel as strongly for Forrest Gump unless we see everything through his innocent eyes and it's romanticized his way. Okay.
Yeah, so I could see for any audience that's never experienced love or a lasting relationship, they may not know what it feels like. So whatever movie you're watching may have to romanticize that so that the viewer understands what our character is striving for.
Yeah. Like, what's the big deal? Mm-hmm. Why does it hurt so bad?
It's also a relatable feeling. There's times where, how many times have we started a relationship and then in our head are trying to understand it, so we fill a lot of the gaps in and it becomes something sometimes bigger than we anticipated or that we spoke about or even to that other person. So there's a lot of times where we ourselves do it and it's probably something that's relatable in movies. So, you can relate to that romanticized feeling about it. It's also entertaining, I don't want to watch a story. I'm like, yeah, he's being prudent. He's not stepping out of bounds. This character is doing exactly what he's supposed to without his emotions or anything being involved. And that sounds like a boring movie if a guy's straight down the middle, right?
Yeah.
So there's no excitement or contrast or conflict that can arise from someone just making the right choices, right? I don't want to get too excited. I'm going to keep it right down here. So, I mean...
Well, I think a lot about modern movies when it comes to relationships, because I feel a lot of them bring to light a lot of the negative aspects of them, or like the human things that could get us upset, with abuse and that sort of thing. Not just physical, but emotional and mental. What was that movie that just came out maybe a year ago?
I have one. And that might
Blake
be the
Lively.
one. It's the one that I was going to talk about. It Ends With Us.
That's it, yes.
I read the book, and then I watched the movie, and I'm like, gross.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see it coming, because he's just, I knew exactly the movie you were bringing up, and when I wanted to mention it earlier, it's definitely on my list, but I had everything kind of compartmentalized a little bit differently in my notes. But that's one that I wanted to make sure we talked about, because poor relationship, perfectly, but it's a little bit nuanced the way the movie portrays it. And the book is less nuanced. The book is more, what's happening in the makings of his head. You see the power and control in his head. In the movie, you don't see it at first. You see him, you almost like have sympathy for the devil in the movie a little bit. And then finally it's like, dude, you are not good. This is abusive, and this is power and control, and this is ugly. And to a point where I thought that the big fallout was a publicity stunt. Their real life fallout was.
Right.
And it's so tragic that it actually, one way or another, was this big point of contention. It's all ugly.
And
that's the one you're talking. Okay,
Yeah, It Ends With Us. It's a whole series.
I don't know which one it was, but okay, I see it now. But that was the scandal thing that was going on.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so and I feel like it's been a lot with modern movies of like precautions, what to look out for, whereas older movies were kind of like what to strive for, what to look forward to.
I didn't thought that was just me. I've always felt that too about older movies. It's like, this is the hope, this is the optimism, this is what it can look like. And it's almost like everything else is, I always call it this, I paint it with a very broad brush. We become so cynical and jaded and sarcastic instead of hopeful and optimistic and honest and wholesome.
Right.
And we've almost made it so that those terms are dirty words and ugly words now.
Yeah, you don't hear green flags, you hear red flags.
Right.
So it leads me into my last question for this talking point. Does something need to be sad or solemn to be more realistic? In this context of talking about relationships and movies.
No, I don't.
Good question. These are really good questions.
Hold on. Say it again.
Does something need to be solemn to be more realistic?
Yeah, does something need to be sad or solemn to be more realistic? In this conversation here about relationships and movies.
It has to have points of that because it'll seem more realistic. Because if it's all good,
then it's rose-colored glasses.
It's rose-colored glasses, or you're getting a portion. But I feel like it feels more realistic when they have the real ups and downs.
And good plot always has some conflict to it.
Yeah.
Has some texture. I think that's it. That's what I'm looking for. When you show the ups and downs of a relationship and some of the heavies and some of the, then it's more interesting. If it's just all a roller coaster ride that only goes up, then there's no texture. I don't think.
Right.
I would lean toward that though, personally.
Because you can have characters who handle that well, and it's showing like a more strong relationship. Because I got like Adam's Family and a couple of movies where I'm like, that's them dealing with tough times well together. You know, but the tough times are there. It feels a little more. Not that Adam's Family is realistic, but it feels like the relationship's more realistic. I guess when they have tough times. If it's all great, grand, wonderful, fantasy-ish, I guess it's where it steps out of realism, I guess.
Yeah, I think it becomes almost like a Hallmark.
Hallmarky.
Yeah, right.
I think
there's no deep conflict there.
I think it depends on how the audience is consuming it too, because some people don't like any conflict whatsoever. So if you have a little bit of texture, all of a sudden it's too sad or it's too this, it's too negative. Even if the overall message is positive or most of the storyline is positive.
You ever watch a movie where they hit you with almost a little bit too heavy. You're not ready for it. You feel like it's very light, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa!
It changes your whole outlook on it.
You're
Like, oh, that was a
like,
sad movie.
You put the popcorn down. Okay, you put the caramel popcorn down. You pick up the buttered popcorn. So it's still a popcorn movie, but you're like, ooh, my, this took a turn.
I can think of one movie I watched here where I was like, oh, they're just getting tortured the entire time. This is... It's all sad.
You're going to have to narrow it down, man.
I know. Like,
So the first one that came to mind was Nocturnal Animals.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is awful all the way around. This is... It's a horrible relationship, and it's a story about this awful thing to represent this awful actual relationship that's occurring. If you ever get a chance, if you're in the mood to hate yourself, and there's some theme and some things behind it. Vozly was like, come check this out. You want to be sad for the next 3 days? I'm going, oh, yeah, sure, I'll come over.
I like to be sad.
I locked the door. That was that.
Lit a candle.
But those are other nights.
It's an interesting question.
Ooh, that was a gentle touch on that one.
The next point I got is As Time Goes By.
Beautiful song.
So it's the song that Rick banned Sam from playing in the saloon.
Mm-hmm.
The song that reminds Rick of his time with Ilsa. The song that's banned until he hears it again. And all the memories come flooding back. It represents the idea of longing for the nostalgia of lost love. Wanting to actually feel that sadness again. Wanting to feel the bittersweet. If you've watched The Office, it's every Michael Scott breakup ever. But there he is. No one plays it like you, K-Max.
Thanks, man. I do what I can. And I'm trying to stop it right now, by the way. You play too much. You play too much.
But in The Office, the fans might remember when he breaks up with Carol. I think it's in the second season. And he plays the same 30-second preview of the Feel Sad song so he can feel sad. And when it ends, he replays it. And, it's that moment right there where you just want to feel sad, to remember, to feel whatever remnants you have of that relationship still. I feel like personally, I remember having these feelings like in high school, using any like feelings of rejection or breakup to motivate for workouts or to feel something strong emotionally to hype yourself up. So I don't know if anyone else has felt this way. So maybe I'm going on a limb.
No, that really helps with songwriting, by the way, too. A lot of good songwriting is born out of that loss or that even in lifting, certainly.
Yeah. Like you want to feel that pain and hurt to respond to it.
And I'm almost drawn to that kind of music. We call them hurting songs. Good hurting songs. Keith Urban, Tonight I Want to Cry. It's like he talks about these songs, sad songs. Elton John, Turn on Them Sad Songs. You know what I mean? Someone else is sad enough to write them down. You know what I mean? The lyrics of good hurting songs will get you through good Matchbox 20. If You're Gone. I mean, those songs carry a lot of weight, and it almost like helps you synthesize your own pain sometimes or loss.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
So in Casablanca, Rick says, you played it for her, you can play it for me, as he sits there drinking and smoking and feeling upset, making himself feel sad and longing for that lost love. Do you guys have any movies in mind for longing for lost love?
Oh, yes. Let me think here when I have them here. I have one where The Fault in Our Stars is my favorite love story movie, and because it has so much grief in it. It has that contrast. It has that heavy, not only the heavy of their relationship, where she's afraid to open up and let somebody in because she feels like she's a hand grenade. She feels like the more people, I want to do the least damage as possible. But my mom and dad are stuck with me. They have to jump on this grenade. They're my parents. I don't need to love you, Gus, because I'm going to blow up one of these days. I have cancer, and I want to hurt the least amount of people I want. Why would I want to love someone now? And spoiler alert, he ends up going first. And seeing her in that loss is more than I can bear when I watch it and when I read it again. And when I listen to the audiobook, I am sobbing. I am Ben Stiller, something about Mary sobbing. Because it's such a real feeling. It's such a... And so she plays that role perfectly. It's just sobbing, you know what I mean? That missing him. And, you know, and then you see movies where they're missing someone like that just from the love being gone, like being wronged, like being alone then. I'm trying to think of specific movies. Never felt more unprepared in my life, but specific movies where someone gets left, or someone, you know, someone's gone off to war, and there's that lost feeling. They're just absolutely empty. They're empty because of it. Someone dies in the war. I'm trying to think of different characters though, but nothing's coming to mind specifically.
Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
That's one where Ben Affleck and Josh Hartnett.
Well, then even like Armageddon, staying on the Ben Affleck, like where she's like, it's a father daughter.
Yeah.
And you know that she knows he's not coming home. You know,
A Walk to Remember.
Oh.
And the one with Jake Gyllenhaal and Anne Hathaway.
Love and Other Drugs.
That's it. Yeah, Love and Other Drugs.
Yeah.
Where she's going to die. She has terminal disease, and she's trying to back away from the relationship, not wanting him to carry this burden.
I have American Pie 2 again, but it's
Stifler's mom.
Yeah, it's that thing where man, I forget the guy's name.
Goon.
No, the guy that slept with Stifler's
Finch.
mom.
No.
Finch.
Yeah.
So Finch, the whole movie is trying to prepare for her coming back to the beach house, and so you know he's looking at old photos of her and going like, "How did you do that magic you did?" You know, but it's distracting, right? For these characters, it's taking up space emotionally and mentally, and I think that's kind of a big thing. Titanic again. Not just the romanticizing, but kind of longing for it. Like you can tell as old Rose is depicting what happened that night. Like she's wanting that back, right? And obviously she's kept the necklace or whatever, the jewel, whatever it is, for that whole time because she's longing for that lost love with Jack.
I think of like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, where they have to go to that extreme where it's like just wipe it out, wipe it out. And I guess I'm spared from the idea of having too much of this, where it's like we can relate too much to this stuff.
Right.
And I'm glad. I guess we're blessed that way.
Well, that's why I had to use Casablanca because I'm like, it's tough for me to relate to like some of the darker relationship stuff.
Right. But I think out there listening, like everybody can relate a little bit to it at least, you know, and kind of rally around it a little bit. But I think of movies like that where they would rather. I think of like I can't think of specific titles, but someone enlists in the military because the hope in this is gone, or I'm going to head out here because what I thought was going to work out didn't work out. Again, I can't put my finger on any specific titles, but I feel like these are, I don't want to say tropes, but these are like...
Yeah, I would call them tropes. So,
yeah. They're like the character that goes off, well, this isn't going to work. I'm going to go do this then. Or I'm going to go fight this thing then. I'm going to go into this high risk activity because this didn't work out. Or I was rejected this way. You know, it's characters that jump into things like that.
I think that you could add the movie we just watched, Sleeping with Other People.
Oh, yeah.
But what do you guys think about this idea, though, of it being such a bother such a distraction for not just movies, but like in real life of people not being able to focus on the here and now because they're so distracted thinking about the past and trying to revisit the past and long for the past and want to re-experience that nostalgia where they're not focused on the now.
I mean, that takes on all kind of faces, not just romantic, too.
Mm.
Like you get the guy that, Glory Days, the Springsteen song. It's like, just stuck in high school. And, you go back for your 20-year reunion and you see someone who has not moved a day since then. And every conversation you have, they still bring back, remember that team? Remember that night? And you're like, oh, my goodness. I'm trying to forget it, first of all. Or I barely remember. It's insignificant right now. And yet they're still in that one spot. They just want to talk about that team and that one moment. Meanwhile, you've had all these real experiences, or others have made. And if it's you, these other people have moved on. And they get great songs get written about all these hurts. Mm-hmm. There's so many good songs about the feeling that you get when you feel like everybody's changing and you're just exactly the same as you were 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. I'm technically on the box.
The idea that everybody is moved forward and you're left in this space that you didn't realize you were by yourself in anymore. And I feel like romantic love could be that way also, where you're still, the idea of you're still holding a candle for something. That idea that this is still where I'm at. I'm waiting for you to come back. Maybe you're not, maybe someone passes away, or maybe someone's just turned the page and they're like, they've outgrown you maybe. And you're still sitting there saying, yikes and ouch. If I can use my onomatopoeia, ouch and oof and rats.
Do you think someone could be in a fully committed relationship and still be in that state, like a new relationship?
Man, yeah, I do. I do think that. I'm trying to think of movies that would back that up, right? They could be in that. They could be in a committed relationship and still be in that state of maybe this. It isn't what it was, or it's not what I expected it to be. That type of a feeling,
like the yearning to experience like a past relationship.
Well, I mean, you look at a lot of the movies like where things are born, where either the beginning of an affair type thing, or a character that, I mean, almost like The Incredibles, where he's happy in his family life, but he has this. I want to feel like this again. I want to remember what this felt like. I want to feel like I matter again.
Yeah.
I want to feel sexy again.
Yeah.
I want to feel,
Tin Man.
I'm Googling them. It's the best I can do.
No. No, the question for you. So if someone is still yearning for a past love, and feeling nostalgic for experiencing that again, can they begin a new relationship, be committed to that new relationship? Do you think it's possible?
I think someone can be committed to a new relationship if they're still yearning for a past one?
Mm-hmm.
No. I don't know. I don't think so.
I mean, I think of like Castaway, the perfect example of that, where it was real with Tom Hanks, Helen Hunt's relationship, and through no fault of either of theirs, I think when she thought that's a heartbreaking scene right there. When they have time together for a minute, because he's a decent person and she's a decent person, and neither of them meant for that to happen. Mm-hmm. And when she said that after they hug or whatever, she goes, "They told me you were dead." Mm-hmm. And that's such a hard scene.
Yeah, because it was like 5 years, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's such a hard scene for me to watch because I felt like I was mad at her, but for what? She was told he was dead. Mm-hmm. And it's like that movie with Jake Gyllenhaal again, where he's in the military, and the wife is told that he's dead.
Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, that's it. And she starts dating the brother. And he comes home and he's like absolutely beside himself about it. Mm-hmm. But you can't help her. You can't hold him accountable for having feelings moving past that.
Right.
And yet, as an audience, sometimes we do, and as a person, I do too. I have friends who have lost dear ones. And there's been different people who have judged them for moving on. And I don't mean lost them like the love isn't there anymore, they fell out of love or they got divorced. I mean someone passed away. And some of the friend group judged for dating again or moving on in a very in my estimate, I'm just one person,
Yeah.
in a very unfair way. And seeing how much that hurt my friend who was still here. When he was explaining to me, I would never disrespect or hurt her. And this is like a year later. And he's like, I wish people understood how much she wanted me to be happy and made her promise her that I would move on and try to love again. And just seeing how much grief that caused him for trying to move on, even though his one true love is no longer here. That's not his. That's not even his fault. In fact, it's the opposite of his fault. He would give everything, heaven and earth, to have her back.
I think that's a really interesting point of if you lost someone, because that sudden loss is going to have a chunk of your heart still attached to it. And there's not really any way that you're going to be able to just say, well, I have to move on. Like, you're always going to have that piece, especially if there wasn't really a bitter end to it.
No.
If it was someone that you really, truly loved and they were taken, I mean, I don't know how you could not have some feelings there.
Yeah, I think it's really, really a heavy thing for them to navigate. Very close people, family in my say, who've lost a spouse, like suddenly and tragically, then now having to pick up the pieces and people saying, how come you never moved on? How come you never, sometimes you just got to respect the fact that someone says, I had my love of my life. And then that is, I don't want to say it's noble, but it is certainly respect worthy for someone to say that. Almost like when on Good Will Hunting, when he goes, my wife's dead. And he's like, you need to get out there, put yourself out there. He goes, I had my wife. She's dead. Remember Robin Williams' character? And again, so we're not talking like where she left or anything, like, or he left her.
Right.
But like, it's still very much that loss, that separation, where he just stubbornly says, nope.
And are we supposed to say that someone that experiences that isn't worthy of a second chance at love?
Right.
And then are we saying that, well, you can't be in a committed relationship if you still love someone else still?
I mean, that's the thing, right? I mean, that goes to a point of like other reasons for separation. It gives you a lot more understanding, for that person that decides this isn't going to work, or this one person decides it's not going to work, or someone stops trying, or someone stops, and then it gives you a little bit of, not sympathy, because I don't think anyone's asking for it, but it gives you a little more understanding. It sheds a light on it a little bit more to say, when it's not what people signed up for, or someone just changes, someone just flat out breaks the contract, or someone just decides, I don't like, you annoy me, this doesn't work. And, if that's the case, then they're probably best served saying, well, that's why not everybody that dates anybody always get married 100% of the time. And everybody that gets married doesn't 100% of the time stay together, because things change and things happen. And there's texture to all this stuff and conflict. And even inside those really, really great relationships, sometimes, and I think that's where film, I had it in my notes there, but that's where life imitates art, imitates life. And why movies are attractive to us. And sometimes why movies are therapeutic for us. Because they might show characters going through similar things, and you're able to watch it and say, I don't feel so alone anymore. There's other people that feel that way. Or the filmmaker at least saw a character, or the need to put a character out there that was experiencing this.
Right.
And, for one reason or another, there's reasons why those movies sometimes hit hard. Great Gatsby has themes that rip and compel. Generations. Great Expectations, another one, has themes and things that have storylines and it has conflict and has draw that is very compelling and stands the test of time, you know. Clean.
Letters of Transit.
Oh, yeah.
And in case the listener hasn't noticed, Tin Man had to step out for a couple minutes here, so it's just me and the K-Max for a little bit.
Right, we're getting real comfortable here. We got the fireplace on. Got the cavatier right here. Yeah, you're on with the ladies' man, Leon Phelps. Sorry.
In Casablanca, there's these letters that Ilsa and her husband Victor were after. They could be seen as symbols of hope, of a future, or an escape from the purgatory that is Casablanca. That is why Rick, who has the letters and thus the access to be free, ultimately decides to give them to the hopeful Victor and his wife, Ilsa. In our discussion on relationships, this would be the glimmer of hope that guides a character back into themselves, that breaks them out of despondency. To reference Michael Scott again, it's when someone can say, I am ready to get hurt again.
It's perfect.
So I'm not going to ask for any movie references here, but I want to start by revisiting a previous question. With the lens of hope, it sounds like a Wonder Woman weapon. With a lens of hope, though, is it good that movies romanticize relationships?
I'd say yes, right? Because with the lens of hope, yeah, because it's why Disney movies work so well. The fantasy works so well because we can all relate to. Everybody wants to be loved, right where they are, right for who they are, right, and everybody wants to feel like they're worthy of love. And everybody wants to feel, I go even a step further, like they're capable of loving someone that way themselves. And to see that in film, it has to be romanticized because love is in the words of Pat Benatar, love is a battlefield, man. It's nuanced. It's different than you think. I guess my buddy Derek wrote a song. Love is different than you think. It's never in a song or on a movie screen. It's harder than a word said at the right time and everything's all right. Love is different than you think. And it's funny how he referenced it's never in a song or on a movie screen. And that's the idea about it is like it's not the way it's drawn up. Mm-hmm. It's always nuanced. It's always a little bit complicated. It's always a little bit messy. But that way it's almost more intensely good or more intensely bad too than it is on film. Mm-hmm. That's a perfect song for it, actually.
Yeah, I think if you're going to get people to believe in love and want to experience it, then the movies have to make the purest form of it on screen so that we believe in it.
Do you believe in life after love? That's up. James, Tin Man, would you stop doing Cher impressions? Do you believe in life after love?
Oh, it's definitely does not sound like me.
That's why it's a good impression, man. You did a great job.
So I feel like especially now, because you had older movies with relationships that showed what you strive for. You have a lot of movies now of what to look out for, and almost to the point. I mean, I'm glad I was born when I was, because I feel like a lot of movies now are like, why would I even want to be in a relationship if I risk feeling like that, or I risk that happening, or I risk losing that and feeling that pain and that loss? Why would I do any of that? And that's what it feels like with a lot of like modern movies, or like it's a lot of like try again, or this person isn't right for you, so just quit there and find a different one, or know your own worth. And you don't need to cater to anybody. You are perfect the way you are, and you don't need to change or improve yourself. And that's the sense that I get with a lot of like modern movies that display relationships.
Yeah.
And older stuff is kind of, it's quite a bit more romanticized, but it's also working together. It's also finding the partner, of working on that relationship together to make something larger than your individual self. So yes, I do think you need to romanticize the relationship.
Yeah.
In the movie anyway, if I'm talking from a hope perspective, because there's a lot of people that unfortunately don't get to feel that amount of love. There's a lot of single people out there that may not ever marry, that may not ever have a long-lasting relationship. And it might be their own choice, but it might also be a very sad thing where they just never get to
I look at
experience
films
it.
that it's almost like an independent. This is my fight song. This is what I mean, like how Stella got her groove back. Well, how did she find her momentum, her real self? Well, she got rid of that, and she went out and did this vacation, and off she went, and then she really found herself. And maybe that works. Maybe that works. But I find more films leaning that way now. And again, that's fine. And maybe that's a sign of the times. Maybe it's a reflection of society. I don't know. But Eat, Pray, Love also. How do you rebound from this? How do you escape from this? Well, you bolt, and then you go travel and eat, and you find yourself. And maybe that is absolutely 100% great and awesome. And but less movies of Casting Crowns, or is it Mercy? Broken Together. The idea of like working, figuring things out in the collective, inside the collective, instead of outside the collective. It doesn't have to be married. It could be a couple, people dating, figuring this out and navigating it together. I think that's probably the best. I'm certainly not the authority on it, but that's probably the best way to do it. Is it's kind of what dating's for. You're figuring it out. Do we have some commonality here? Do we have even like a faith commonality where we can look at the problem the same way, seek solutions the same way? Because if you don't have that connection, then you're painting with different brushes, perhaps. I sound like freaking Dr. Phil here. It's not my intention here.
I'm going to bring up sleeping with other people again when
right.
it comes to romanticizing. Because if we look at these people, they can be seen as terrible people.
Yeah.
You got a womanizer, and you have someone that's cheated on her significant other 16 times.
I don't even know 16 people.
So if we didn't romanticize their situations and their relationship with one another, it can get dark really fast. And then we're saying, well, these people don't deserve to be in a relationship. They can't commit. And if you have that lens, then these people never come together at the end.
Right, that's true.
Or
if they do, we're like, what? You're sitting there as a distraction.
Right.
Yeah.
So the way that it's portrayed is romanticized, and I feel like it has to be. If we're going to say that everybody deserves a shot at love and relationships. So on the flip side of this, though, is it a good thing that many modern movies depict much of the negative sides of relationships?
Oh, that's a really good point. Again, I think I go back to the texture thing. I think it's a good thing to make a good film to give that contrast, to show you the negatives, to show you the other side of it. Because in the film world, you have to show it, don't say it, right? So you really got to drive it home with the viewer, and then generally it's to get them to understand it. Like I remember one Jennifer Lopez movie about her leaving a abusive relationship.
Enough.
And I felt so happy for her, and I was terrified, thinking the only way you're going to stop this is to end it. Because he's never going to give up. And I remember thinking to myself, if they didn't show the other side of it and how nasty it could be and how manipulative and controlling and abusive it could be, I would never have been able to pull for her training and training to kill this man, you know? And I think there's a lot of shows like that, like films that have it. You can see how nasty one side is, so that then it justifies the character. Because then how can that character be likable if someone was just somewhat bad? And even in a funnier way, there's the one with Cameron Diaz and Justin Verlander, Brooklyn Decker, is that her name?
Oh,
and the guy's
the other woman, is that it?
I think it might be the other woman, because is it Jamie Lannister? Is he the guy in it? Again, I don't even know their names, but like the character, and they all kind of find out that he's
Leslie Mann.
Yeah.
Okay,
Again, great job. Depending if he did interesting choices, not horrible choices, but like that movie right there. You have to see how much of a snake he is to justify what they do to him, to ruin him. Otherwise, you're like, boy, that's a little extreme. But I think you have to, and again, that's more comedy, but still, it still has to show you the other side of that. Unromanticize it.
Yeah.
Show them the blatantness of how nasty that can look. And otherwise, you look at those three characters saying, that's a little much. Did you have to go that far?
Right. Tin Man. Without any context now.
Okay. Sorry.
We got a fresh perspective on this, though. Is it a good thing that many modern movies depict much of the negative sides of relationships?
Is it a good thing that many modern movies depict the negative sides of relationships? You mean as opposed to how older movies were a little more hopeful and light and stuff? Is it better? I don't know.
Is it good? It doesn't have to be compared, but...
Is it good? Yeah, no. I don't know. I don't have... It is what it is. It shows people's views, the landscape, maybe a little more... People can be on one end of the spectrum, like, I got to be cautious now because the relationships were so horrible. Or I'm so skeptical now because I think of how awful people can be. So there's more...
Do you feel like modern people, you think they're more inclined to seek out relationships based on their consumption of like movies? And
I think everyone's inclined to seek out relationships regardless. Like I feel like everyone's wanting that relational comfort, that relational, just having a person there, whether it is, I mean, being alone is sometimes the awfulest place you can be. And everybody wants to be accepted and belong and with someone, I think most people do. The vast majority of people want to have that lid for their pot, kind of thing.
I think that is true. I also think people might be getting confused as to how to find it. Because if I'm using movies to relate to that claim, I would say that I was telling K-Max earlier, a lot of modern stuff focuses on your own self-worth. What, if it's not right for you, you leave it, you don't work on it. There's a lot of like entitlement. There's a lot of looking out for the faults in other people first.
Well, that's why marriages are only like 50% or whatever. Like so many marriages end in divorce. There's a lot of...
it's human nature to look for belonging, but I feel like if you're comparing movies to that trend, I feel like there's a little disconnect there.
Yeah.
And we mentioned older movies. I feel like there's more hope of, we said that relationships are romanticized in older movies, but that provided like hope for people to say, that feels good. I want to chase that. But we talked about that Blake Lively movie. There's a few others.
To oppose any of these older classical relationship movies to like the last one we watched, where they're like, we're going to bang all these other people and use each other as a... Like, I feel like...
There's so much collateral for that one relationship,
There's so much like, we're going to crash this car into this china shop and hopefully find a little piece of glass that didn't break, and that's what we're going to try to base this relationship on. Like that's what
funny.
it feels like.
That's hilarious.
Compared to something older that has like
We said older
old-fashioned
movies
values. You
were
know,
working together to build a relationship and build a life together, whereas now it just feels like find the right piece that fits your rigid puzzle piece.
Right.
You just flip them in and out. Nope.
I
doesn't
have
fit,
all
doesn't
these
fit, doesn't
jagged
fit.
edges, and you better have jagged edges that match my jagged edges.
Right.
Not we should smooth each other out so that we fit well after, iron sharpening iron type of thing. We got to work together to make this work. I don't know. Maybe we're. I think we're doing too well as a country. If you're broke and poor and you're like, hey, we don't have money for this,
Not
we're gonna
enough,
make it work. I don't know. I feel like there's we are doing so well. Everyone else, everyone's their own therapist. They have all these red flags. He's a narcissist. How many guys we meet are narcissists? Crazy.
Not me.
I don't know.
Certainly not me.
Certainly.
Super skeptical of people trying to make relationships work now. Let's just swipe right on all these. I don't know.
And not worrying about like what you bring to the table, what people think of you. It's just
I'm owed this.
you need to fit my piece.
And that's it. I owed the entitlement of I'm owed this. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. How many people online you could watch videos, 30 people in a row. Oh, I'm a 9, maybe a 10. I'm a 9, maybe a 10.
Right.
Everyone of you guys are 9s and 10s? Stop it.
Stop it. He's just so gentle with that button.
You don't have to go crazy.
But I always will try. I'm a go
I hit
getter.
one that seemed to ring a little extra earlier. I was
Yeah.
like, "Hola, that really..."
It felt like it went through one side of my headphones to the other side, like directly through.
Yeah.
All right, our next talking point: play the Marseille.
Oh my.
There's a scene where Rick refuses to help Laszlo and Ilsa with the letters of transit. And immediately after, the German troops occupying the saloon start singing one of their songs. I don't know which one exactly, but they're singing in German, and it's a very like regimented song, right? And it's sort of a symbolic oppression of hope then. If we viewed those letters of transit as hope, and Rick says, I'm not going to help you with those, and then the German song comes on, that to me that's a very symbolic gesture of minimalizing that hope for Rick, right? And then, not to allow his saloon to lean too far politically, he allows Laszlo's request for the Marseillaise to be played by the house band there. This quickly and effectively drowns out the German song, and anyone that wasn't German or wasn't a German soldier joins in the song and displays a great emotional connection to it. The one girl crying, yes.
Yeah.
Was it Sasha? No, that was Yvonne.
Yvonne,
yeah. You see like a tear going down her cheek as she's participating here. So I couple this scene with another scene when Laszlo and Rick confront each other about loving Ilsa. Instead of a confrontation of anger and violence, it's instead a plea from Laszlo that Rick at least use the letters of transit to protect Ilsa. Right? If you're not going to give them to me, if I can't buy them off you, at least take care of her, at least get her somewhere safe. And if that means that he's got to go with her and it's them two without Laszlo, then he's willing to make that choice. And he responds with, yes, I love her that much. This scene shows a dedication to cause, to something other than himself in the resistance, and someone other than himself. These two scenes I highlighted are key to giving Rick perspective on the, quote, love that he has for Ilsa. The depth of love Ilsa's husband has for her, and a shared cause is deeper than Rick can even have recognition of at that time, let alone the capacity for. This is part of the reason I feel marriage and relationships can be two very different things. When we talk about the depths of love, you have this love story with Rick and Ilsa built on that one summer or whatever in Paris, and then you have this marriage that's built on love of history and accomplishments and trials and tribulations together. Mm-hmm. And you can see how different these things are when...
shared struggle.
Yes. And we didn't even know the depths of the trials that they went through. Again, we talked about Gyllenhaal and McGuire.
Yeah.
She was also told that he was dead. Very similar thing here, where she was told Laszlo was dead, and she tried to move on until it came out that no, he's alive. Mm-hmm. And now she's got to make a choice here, right? She's kind of caught in the middle of grieving and trying to move on, and still within earshot of the past life that she had with her husband.
I feel for that guy, her husband, the same way I felt for the husband, Helen Hunt's husband in Castaway. It's like he didn't do anything wrong. Or in La La Land, her husband, Emma Stone's husband, that comes into the jazz club. None of these guys did anything wrong.
And that's, to me, the depiction of Victor Laszlo in that situation is like as close to unconditional love as you can see in a human character here, where he doesn't question. He says he doesn't need an explanation of what happened. He accepts that what the situation was, and he says, this is how much I love her, though. Mm-hmm. If she has an opportunity to be free and travel to America and not be affected by this danger here, then go with her. If that's what it takes for her to be safe, that's how much I love her.
It's a beautiful movie.
I love her that much, right? So even though it's Rick's movie, right? Rick and Elsa's movie, I think that Victor Laszlo is such a concrete symbol for love. Mm-hmm. And like I said, you compare that to Rick, though, and Rick and Elsa's fling together, and there is no comparison, really. Like, it's crazy how different they are, that at first Rick can't even comprehend that someone would love someone that much. Mm-hmm. What do you see as, and not just movies now, what do you see as big differences between relationships and marriage?
I mean...
And when I say marriage, not trying to be like an old head here, so it could be people that have long decided that they're together, but maybe just haven't gone through the official
almost like
things.
A common law type thing, right?
Yeah.
Marriage!
Marriage!
You almost have the more formality, right? The contract, you know what I mean? Like I officiate weddings, right? I'm known to do such things, and there's certain things that are part of the ceremony that I have to say and they have to attest to publicly in order for me to sign the license and whatnot, right?
Like an actual agreement.
Like an actual agreement, like saying it in front of people, before God, and also in the state of New York type thing. You have to say these things. You get to, because it's a contract. I mean, it's a contract, right? It's like these are some things. These are some rules we're going to play by, And relationships, it's. I hate to sound preachy about it, right? Because I've seen horrible marriages,
right,
that mean little to nothing to any party involved, and I've seen great relationships of unmarried people who are more committed to each other and a common purpose through flaws and ups and downs, sickness and health, than anyone could imagine.
I would lump those people in with the married, though, when I say like they're not, when they've made that decision to say, oh no, we're together.
Yeah.
There's no There's no ifs, ands,
Gotcha.
or buts. It's just that
Gotcha.
we're not going through the formality of marriage.
But that said, then I think it makes it easier for me to kind of differentiate then.
Mm-hmm.
One is just, there's when there's not a commitment to it, it's that, then it's, can walk away at any time. There's no pressure. There's, I guess that sounds like a positive thing, right? That there's no pressure. And certainly I think currently people probably would say this is the joy of being young. This is the joy of growing up now. That you can have things like sleeping with other people, like the movie. You can have a movie like that where everybody's like unfazed by it,
Right.
Whereas, that committed ideal, old-fashioned ideal of this committed relationship that this is my person or these are my people. It's I guess it doesn't take those things so lightly. It looks at it as these are meaningful expressions here. All these things are meaningful expressions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure, sex and all that things, but also, kinship and like-mindedness and a common struggle and collective effort. Those things all start coming into play, and it takes work. You're pushing the plow together. You're not just taking the vacation together.
Mm-hmm.
You're changing diapers. You're tandeming care.
Yeah.
You're carpooling to soccer.
I think overall those are things like you both are working on something bigger than yourselves individually.
Mm-hmm.
So when you said diaper changes, like you are both raising a child, and that's if you're dating or in a relationship, there is no commitment to something bigger than yourself yet. It's just playing the field, and the goal, you're trying to graduate from relationship to marriage, or it's equivalent for people that don't get married.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to get into the upper tier version of that. So I think that's the big difference to me is relationships, they come and go, but if they're strong enough, then it's no longer a relationship. It's a marriage. It's what is the word for something that's for someone? Because we have a handful of friends and relatives that are in those where they're together. It's not like they're not going to be together.
I mean,
they live together.
use common law, right? I mean, it's
okay.
Even though there's a better term for it, but that's what I look at it as.
Okay.
Almost like it's widely accepted that these are a couple. So common law, and that's what the state of New York would say too. It's a common law marriage, right?
And the tough thing is, I see people. Social media is a crazy place, but I see a lot of people that might be in relationships or single or dabble in relationships that will criticize or downplay how important or how meaningful marriages can be, and kind of play up, 50% of people get divorced, or this person cheats, or this person does that all the time, and it doesn't mean anything, and I'm free, and I'm a dink, right? Like dual income, no children or no kids, right?
No kids.
So I see that also, and it's tough. It's tough to see that, because I'm like, what I've gotten out of like my marriage and because I've been with my wife, we got married 9 years, or it will be 10 years this year, but we've been together since 2007. And what I've gotten out of that, I know made me a better person with a lot more perspective and growing perspective. Learn something new every day. And I can't imagine myself being single or not in a long-term committed relationship where I'd be as a person if I didn't have all of those experiences. Like this podcast, I think certainly would be non-existent or very on the surface,
We'd be doing like surfer and video game movies.
The episodes that we've gotten the most feedback out of are those things of, of fatherhood and other deeper subjects. Mm-hmm. Tin Man, what do you see as a few big differences between relationships and marriage?
In movies or in life?
Could be both. When I say marriages, we also mean like common law
or like cohabitate. You know what I mean?
So like, we know a few people that are in long-term relationships that are just like, oh yeah, they're together.
They just never
actually get.
Okay.
Yep.
What's the difference between that and a relationship? Mm-hmm. Well, because you can have a relationship with anything. Your dog, your cousin. Well, cousins after midnight. No, that's a res thing.
Dating. As the context for this whole episode, dating, like relationship, like romantic wise.
There's some texture.
Yeah, you throw pet and cousin right away.
Well, I mean, like you have relationships with people at work. You have relationships with your parents. Those are
but I mean romantic relationships.
Okay, what's
between
the
that and like marriage? Yeah. Like your biggest, if you had to.
Okay, so like difference
summarize.
between like early dating and later marriage type stuff. Okay, what's the difference? Is
give me your biggest 3 conceptual differences.
Okay, let's see. 3 biggest conceptual differences.
The big 3.
All right, so all the cute little funny things when you first met, that wore off right off the bat, right? Those are gone. Let's see. All the exciting, fun sex stuff. Let's see where that goes after marriage. Let's see you got enough time built in there for baggage and resentment. We got that added to the marriage. That's probably my 3. My 3.
So relationships are actually the highlight then of your.
No, not for me. I'm saying that's what. If I were to spot the differences, that's the difference. So
see, that's the perspective that we just tore apart a couple minutes ago of like a modern people might that aren't in marriages kind of be like, oh, those people they they're unhappy, 50% get divorced. They're cheating on anyone anyway, and I'm free, and I get to have all those crazy sex things you were just talking about. And
yeah,
so it's those people picking apart the marriage part of it.
So that's the thing though, is it's pressure and time. Is it going to crumble into dirt or is it going to make a diamond out of it? I guess I don't know. Are you going to handle all those things well?
So you would say marriage is like the diamond then, and
relationships is the beginning. Is the part of the process. The
so
beginning is
dirt and
it better be
pressure.
Good in the beginning. If you hate each other in the beginning, it's going to really suck. Years later, it's got to be rose-colored glasses to start with. That's what you got to start with. If you don't think this person is hot and you don't think this person is someone that you want to spend all your time with, that has to be rose-colored to start with.
I would say that's a similarity though between relationships. You wouldn't be in a relationship if you weren't attracted to them to begin with.
But I mean, marriage. Like down the line,
So differences though.
Yeah. What's the difference between the two? So you can hold up a relationship in the beginning based on just looks. You can't hold your relationship and isn't going to hold any water. There's times where I'm like, my wife couldn't be prettier, and I'm like, I'm not putting up with today. I've joked, where we said like, no matter how hot or pretty a girl is, some guy somewhere is sick of her bullshit. That's
not me.
Not me.
But what holds your relationship together after marriage is something different than what holds it together at the beginning.
There you go.
Your
I like
substance
that a lot.
is different.
There you go. Again, we just watched Sleeping with Other People, but I think that's a good example where you see Xander and his wife. They're diamonds, right?
Yeah.
They are one diamond together, and you have Jake and what is her name?
We'll think of it.
Mm-hmm. I won't.
Jake and
Laney.
Nice.
You have
Elaine.
Yeah. So with them, you have pressure and dirt still forming together.
Yeah.
But it's night and day. The marriage between Xander and his wife. What is her? I don't remember her name. But you have that compared to
the married couple and the not married couple.
Yeah, you see clear difference of foundation and trust and loyalty and everything like that.
Yes.
And when Jake and Lainey finally mold together, they're about to get married that day.
Yeah.
So I think that's a pretty good visual representation of the differences, how clear they are to me anyway.
Yeah.
So I also see the two scenes from Casablanca as a demonstration of how romantic love by itself is not enough to cement a connection with someone. That you need your own goals, your own aspirations, and purpose to share with someone in order to make it work, right? Relationships in movies can be seen as empty of a lot of those deeper connections. Infatuation and the idea of new love or the excitement of a fling is the only connection. So in Casablanca, during the flashback scenes to Paris, again, they don't know anything about each other than we had this great time in Paris together. And that's all they can recall, even when they meet in his saloon later, is just he sees her, and that's the connection, is just sparking those memories. There's no, like, he didn't even know that she's been married for however long she's been married. Didn't know where she was from. Didn't know the last 10 years of her life when they asked each other, you know. Mm-hmm. So do you guys have any movies you can recall that kind of display that, where any other movies, you know, Casablanca's one, but any other movies where they kind of have just that connection, where it's just that fling and there's no real substance to it afterwards? I think mine are going to be recycled, because...
Wait, say it again?
Movies where their romantic connection is built only on the fling and not anything deeper than that.
Oh. Huh? Gone Girl?
Oh, with Anna, with that De Armas, with Ben Affleck, with his
Ben Affleck, and that would be Rosamund Pike, and then with Emily Ratajkowski. Both of them, you know, the beginning half of it, once marriage happened,
okay.
Well, I mean, he had two different flings. Well, one we call a fling. He married the other one, but she folds after. They're like, they always talk. The other woman always talks.
I bet she folds.
Well, that was one of my examples of a...
She dusts.
Of a, yeah. A bad relationship.
So mine are recycled because American Pie.
I was going to say American Pie.
And like Nadia. That's her name. Nadia.
Yep. Naughty.
Where his whole longing for her is built on... I got that close, guys. I was that close. You know, she sent me a postcard. I could do it again, you know. Titanic, again. What could she have possibly known about Jack in those... Was it one night or was it a couple nights? I can't remember. But during that little trip, what could they have possibly known about each other?
Right.
That would have built a stronger connection than just a fling.
Right.
That she longs for 80 years later.
Right. And they don't have... She don't even know if any of it's true. You could have put on it could have been a...
Right. Yeah.
I mean, come look how us poor people live. We're dancing, having fun.
Right. And I'll say Aladdin. Because the whole thing was actually built on a pretense. Like, oh, I'm a prince. And, you know, like he's not showing himself until the end.
To be fair, it's the other way. She's not going to hang out with the poor people. She's getting on a magic carpet ride through magical whatever. Something like that.
Right. I mean, like, that's your fling, though. Is like, oh, he showed me the world.
Yeah.
Like, well, yeah. Okay, what else? Like
what
there's
there's
nothing else. Yeah, what else do you need? You got more than the world?
Shining,
You want more than that?
shining, shimmering, splendid.
That's right.
The big three.
But it's built on those memories of that experience together and not actual
No.
substance.
They weren't in a relationship yet. They were courting. Then not the Sultan. Then Jafar tried to take over. And then they had this huge magical war and fight against each other. She's trauma bonded to him now. That's where the relationship.
Trauma bonded.
Trauma bonded. Sounds like a Pokemon.
Nickname in college. Again.
Wait. It's got to be your bowl.
Excellent. So films with that, again, it's funny how like Shallow Hal plays with that idea, but then looks at the deeper, finding deeper. But at first, it's just this womanizing guy who's a he-whore, for lack of a better term.
He-whore.
Yeah.
Well, you get a good look at it. T-Bone's. Wait, no, it's.
And then, like where just the surface, the surface relationship is the main thing. Is I think of either like The Graduate, an older movie, where it's like that's the main thing. That's the surface sexual relationship is it.
Even after she leaves and goes with him, there's that lasting shot where they're like, "Oh, what now? We actually have to get to know each other." I guess. I don't know anything about this person.
Yeah. I wanted to throw one of my old movies in there at least.
No, that's a good one.
Yeah, it was
But it's
definitely on the
harder to
radar.
find. It is harder to find an older movie that is based that way. And that was 1967. So
That was 1967.
6'7".
good gravy.
Boo! You're too old for that.
Now, how about movies that you see a strong relationship in? And remember, this one's tricky because it's not, like I said, it's not marriage because it hasn't evolved into that
Oh,
yet.
that's what you wanted. Nope, all mine are marriage ones.
The Fault in Our Stars, again, that's one of my favorite with a strong relationship. Very strong. Like they weren't married, but they were bonded to a point where no one could have been closer. Like they just carried each other because of their commitment. The Fault in Our Stars.
Okay.
Like they were committed to each other. Again, they weren't married, but they were close. Carried each other through sickness and in health better than most married folks would. Even like, I know we're talking about romantic love, but like their friendships and their little circle of support were deeper than most committed relationships.
We will, friendship is a future chapter, so bookmark that one. I had,
Go ahead. Excuse me. Go ahead.
Tin Man talked about trauma bonded. I got a couple movies that might fit that a little bit. I put Les Mis
Hey.
with Cosette and what is his name? Eddie Redmayne's character.
Oh, got it.
Anyways,
Yeah,
those two.
Eddie Redmayne's character.
But they each had their own purpose, which makes it, I'll put it like this. I like the idea of having to be strong enough to stand on your own before you can support anybody else, right? So you can't, like, your relationship can't be your identity. You have to have your own identity that is suitable with someone else, right? So in movies like Les Mis, you have characters that have their own goals and life, like separate from having to be in a relationship. They're already a functioning person, right? He's fighting in this revolution, and she is kind of participating in that also. She's got her father, she's got her own identity, and them being able to focus on those side by side next to each other makes a strong bond, I feel like. And I put down the Mummy movies with Brendan Fraser,
Okay.
Rachel Weisz. Kind of the same thing you mentioned, the trauma bonding, where you're experiencing events together and not just solely romantic things, not just focused on the relationship, but you're focused on outward goals together, right? They're fighting a mummy.
Supernatural.
Yes. a
wall of sand with, with a mummy face.
Yeah.
Coming out.
But as them going through this together and growing together over this time, right? Like he had to be saved by her first. Then he
getting hung,
protects
right?
her.
Yeah, he was being hanged.
And then you continue that into the next movie, the Mummy Returns, and now they have a son together.
Yeah.
Right. So it's over time. It's goals that they're accomplishing, but it's not just, like I said, their relationship isn't their identity. They have their own identities before they enter that relationship.
Marius.
It is.
Like 15, 16.
Wait, are you saying the character's name, or is that a command? Sleeping with other people, I think, again, fits here. Tin Man, you had brought up during that episode that these people were improving themselves before they could be fit enough to be in a relationship together. So their goals were improving as a person and figuring out why they do the things they do and their own forms of therapy before they could be in a committed relationship with one another.
Right.
I put Frozen as an example of a strong relationship with Kristoff and Anna.
Okay.
Because they're trying to save Elsa, right? They're the whole story of Frozen. But Anna displays what a poor relationship looks like with Hans, based on one fling. Don't know anything about the guy, except he's got 8 brothers or whatever, but I'm going to marry him because that's my true love. And then learning that isn't true love and kind of playing against what we learned from early Disney movies and kind of, let's hold our horses here. I'm going to learn from the last mistake. And even though Kristoff seems like a nice guy, we're going to take it slow. And by the end, they're kind of still courting each other by the end of the first Frozen, right? And so I saw that as a strong relationship. It could be because you're slowing down, you're focusing on your fundamentals, you're building things together, you're kind of laying the groundwork with friendship, and you went through this whole adventure together, and you've learned a lot about each other. So it's a lot of laying the groundwork and foundation for a continued stronger relationship.
I like that.
Like you know that they're going to be together, not just because it's a Disney movie, but because you can see all the pieces are being laid down.
Are well placed.
Yeah.
Help me think if this fits or not. I think this fits perfectly, but it might not.
Okay.
When Harry Met Sally. Because Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan's characters are great friends. And they debate. I always feel like Sleeping with Other People is almost like 10 Things I Hate About You is almost like Taming of the Shrew, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like Sleeping with Other People is an offshoot of When Harry Met Sally. I really do. Because they debate sarcastically and cynically whether opposite sex can be friends. Truly friends. Mm-hmm. And they are best friends. That's why they have these debates. And so they talk about why they can't. And in discussing why they can't, they learn that they are very much in love with each other and that they very much can in their particular context.
I haven't seen the movie, but when I'm trying to Google relationships, the strong early relationships displayed in movies, Harry Met Sally was the first one that showed up. So
if you
Google has your back.
I was gonna say
Google has your back on this one.
If you watch it, I think it fits, but also it didn't fit in the other categories. I don't think though.
Okay.
Because I don't think it's certainly a blueprint, but I feel like they do have the training wheels, and almost like the way we see it in Frozen. That's what kind of got me to bring it up, because in Frozen you're seeing all the groundwork where you're like, yes, I can see this happening. They certainly should be together. They got what it took, it looks like. And then Billy Crystal and Sally and Meg Ryan, it seems like they're on a way, like the whole audience can say, you guys are so obviously perfect together. But I think film does a good job of that. The fun ones, fun rom-coms, it's like we said last week or the week before. They let you sit back as the third person omnipresent. You're watching it happen, and you have the information. Like, you guys are perfect together. Why do you keep messing this up? Just do it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's what I felt about those two. Is they seem so similar, and it seems like they're in a collective effort. A collective effort, even though they're not married or even romantically involved yet.
Yeah.
They just have so many similar interests in there. You can tell they're on a trajectory heading that way.
That's like probably one of my favorite rom-coms, called What's Your Number? It's Anna Faris and Chris Evans. Because she read a Cosmo magazine where it's like, if you sleep with over 21 people, your likelihood of finding a suitable mate drops dramatically. So she's at 20, and she's like, I gotta go through my black book to go find who my perfect mate is. He's in here somewhere.
That premise is pretty funny.
So she hires the next door neighbor, who's a private detective, handsome next door neighbor, Chris Evans, to help her track down all her exes to find out which one slipped through the cracks.
What would Freud say?
It's a little Freudian there.
That's a little awesome.
Freudian there.
That's interesting, though.
And as the story goes, it's funny. It's a good one. As the story goes on, he starts doing nice things for her. She starts doing nice things for him, and you're like, these two are gonna finally give it a chance, but she can't because she's at 20.
That's hilarious. Hijinks ensue.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one.
We're rom-com experts, if you didn't know. That's what we do.
Who doesn't love a good rom-com?
Gosh.
Just Voz.
Oh, he loves it, all right.
He's loving it more and more. Every week.
Every day.
Every week, every
Each
day.
Each moment
every
that passes.
Hour.
I warned you. I warned you to estimate me.
Not over or under.
Just properly.
Estimate me.
Tin Man, why don't you give us our last ding of the night here?
Oh, that was hard. I was going hard on that one.
We're going to go tough. It did it again.
Yeah.
Here's looking at you, kid. Rick says this a few times to Ilsa, but most notably at the end when he's saying his goodbye. This scene, Rick explains to Ilsa that she needs to leave with Victor. And, he goes through the famous quote of, you're going to regret it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. So after he did some thinking and reflecting, Rick has the maturity and understanding to guide Ilsa back to the right decision. He does this without anger, without regret, without any selfishness. So he learned a little something, I mentioned when you compare himself to Laszlo and how they loved Elsa. He learned a little bit about the depths of love when seeing how much Victor loves Elsa. So for us, how do we value that ability to let old relationships go?
How do we value the ability to let relationships go?
Old relationships go.
Okay. How do we value it?
Because I mentioned earlier, could you be in a committed relationship and still have the yearning for an old relationship?
I think if you dwell on anything too much that's not focusing on your current relationship, if you dwell on that too much, it will affect your current relationship. Depending on who you are and how much that is, it varies, but I don't think you can dwell too much, a little.
So you would say it's pretty critical that you need to be able to let old relationships go.
I think you need to be able to let relationships. Yeah, people are going to look back and go, that was good. That was good times then. That was nice, but if Facebook has taught me anything, it's like, I can look back and go, oh, no, I made a good choice.
So I'm going to, this works out perfect.
I don't have to guess what my
This is perfect because you had to step out during this time, but me and K-Max, he brought up a really good point here. So
yes, I did miss out a little bit.
So Castaway.
Yeah, I did see Castaway.
The wife had to forget about her husband because she was told that he was dead.
Right.
And then he comes back.
Yeah.
How does that play into the ability to let things go? Would she be wrong if she didn't let it go?
Would she be wrong if she didn't let the relationship with Tom Hanks go?
Right.
No, I mean she could. It would probably just affect her current marriage is all. I mean, she can do what she wants. It is her choice. But do you want the current relationship you have?
So the
5 year, it's probably not 5 years. She's
I think
probably
it
to get
was
married
around that.
No. The time was 5 years, but I'm assuming she didn't get married as soon as they were like, he's dead. I need this guy's shoulder to cry on, and get married right away. But it would affect the marriage. I assume if she dwelt on it long enough, it would start to affect the marriage. But
She almost went.
I think she needed to have that as a closing, as some closure, though. I think she felt he deserved that much.
It's so hard to feel anything for all these people. You're almost like you're all allowed to feel exactly how you feel.
Yeah.
The new husband too, Tom Hanks, her certainly.
Yeah, she because there was nothing wrong with their marriage prior to him dying. That would have lasted forever probably.
Right.
And I felt that she deserved to have that moment with Tom.
Yeah.
Like
I felt
for
the
his
same way.
sake, for his sake, so that knew there was some closure that I never that I didn't intend to this to happen. But I was told you were dead. You were 5 years. You were gone, and I didn't know how to. I've moved on, but I don't regret. But that's what I have. That's what I'm dealing with now.
So that one, yeah, it's a tough decision. But you would hold firm that it was critical, though, that she has the ability to say, that's unfortunate, but it's in the past and I've moved on.
Yeah. I mean, she could not do that and then kind of ruin this, which could absolutely happen. It's probably happened. It's happened.
Right.
Someone else comes back in from the past, and then this relationship starts to get rocky. Anything that doesn't quite work out how she wants it to, now she's dwelling about the Tom Hanks, of her life, and then this marriage starts to crumble a little bit because she wants more or wants this other thing, and in her head built it up, and now her marriage is on the rocks. She goes to Tom for, hey, let's just go for coffee. Like, that's totally possible. Like, that happens to marriages every day, I think, in around the world, and rekindles this to come back to him. But right or wrong, I don't know. That's
Right.
I don't think I would label it right or wrong, but that's what could happen.
I think, again, we see it in Sleeping with Other People because when we have our opening scene when they sleep with each other, but then it jumps forward multiple years.
Yeah.
We're assuming they actually got over each other, though, because it's not like they longed for each other; just happened to run into each other.
They
one
also
night.
didn't have a built relationship together. It was one night of them talking, having fun, witty banter, sex, and then never saw each other again.
And I still think that could be seen as when you yearn for past relationships, that could still be considered a quote relationship, even though it was one night.
Yeah,
It seemed like it meant more to him.
right.
There was a couple lines of dialogue where he kind of held out hope.
Absolutely.
But I was just telling him that that movie, it displayed characters being able to, even though they ended up back with each other, it still displayed the ability to accept that time for what it was and then move forward.
Yeah, that's right.
Because they only ran into each other by chance. It wasn't like they're seeking out one another.
Right.
He hadn't found her on Facebook yet.
Yeah.
K-Max, how do you value that ability to let old relationships go?
I think it's essential, honestly. If you make that decision to commit, it's the idea is that's the case. Then the idea of having your eggs in a basket, and it's like, is the grass greener, or is it greener where you water it, where you put your investment, where you put your commitment, where you put your time. New and shiny, right? There's an attractiveness to the new and shiny, but it's like, is it better there, or is it where I keep watering the grass? You know what I mean? And again, I don't want to ever sound preachy at anybody because there's all kind of stuff in life. But at the same time, if it's like saying I'm gonna do serious on this diet, and yet I keep everything that's awful to eat in the house. I'm the master of that. So I would use that as a metaphor, as I'm going to keep all these contacts, or I keep all these, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
All these pictures or all this. I'm going to keep all of that and expect to be unfazed by it. Good luck.
So, I thought overall you need that ability if you're going to be in a current relationship. But I thought I muddied the waters a little bit, and so I added this. What do we mean by letting old relationships go? And so I worded it just a tad differently. I said, so the ability to not allow nostalgic memories of past relationships enter like daydreams. You know what I mean? Like to still to even think about past relationships or past encounters. Does that count as letting it go? Like how much do you reminisce on it? And not just like us personally, just broadly, like us as people, if you discuss it, like past escapades with people, if you discuss it, even like, a lot of guys do it, even when they're married, oh, I slept this one chick in college and she blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Does that count as letting it go, or is that something entirely different? Because if we're still remembering all those little details, did we let it go?
I mean, you're going through the highlight reel, huh?
Right, exactly.
I think it's where you put it. Is it something like you?
That it matters that much to you.
Some eyebrows went up. If you can't hear it over the mics.
Okay.
Like where you mentally store this
everybody
information.
Knows it doesn't count if you.
You can't hear the eyebrows. How fast they raised. 4 of them. Boom. What?
Well, Mr. Vozly, where'd you put it?
Yeah, where'd you put it?
We all look like me and Foz look like Muppets.
It's not
real. What did he say? Wait, that was Yoda.
That was Yoda. A form of Muppet.
What is that he said? What is that he said? There you go.
Put it where?
Perfect. Tin Man's right. It only counts if you put it.
Only counts. I'm putting my hat on over top of my mic now. Over top of my headphones now.
So it only counts where you store it, you're saying.
Thanks for clarification.
It might be my new favorite picture.
K-Max, you need to put the subtitle. It only counts where you put it.
With that picture.
On the bottom, yeah.
Let me see it.
It only counts where you put it. That's gotta be a t-shirt. That's gotta be a doggone t-shirt.
That's our first depth perception movie podcast.
Store. It's our first item on the store.
Yeah.
It only counts where you put it.
I'm not rewording it. I'm staying with it.
That is so good. You guys stand by it. Man, that picture's just the best. If I live to be 102, that's going to be my favorite picture.
That would be Tin Man's obituary photo.
Why is everybody laughing at his funeral? Have you seen the note card? It's got a wonderful verse of scripture on one side and a picture of him on the other side.
I had photos of Ralph, and I was like, this should have been on the...
I know.
I was like, man, they got the skinniest picture of him ever. Like, look, he's tan and all skinny. Like, I thought you guys use that photo. You guys should use this one. I got him with like an eye patch and a fedora. We did get coffee once. I was like, this should have been on.
I am speaking of morbid. Anyway, I got back to the podcast. I was gonna say.
All right, Tin Man. Let's try this again.
Yeah, try it again.
So it's like how you categorize that memory.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it can hold more weight than it needs to. You can put it in mental storage where it's like, yeah, it's a thing back there that I don't dwell on, but you can always give it more water, you know? You can always make those things more than they need to be. And when does it start affecting other relationships? When does it start affecting your life? You know, same thing with any type of, I don't know, like addiction. Where you go, what's the categories? Where does it affect you here? Does it affect your work life? Does it affect your personal life? Does it affect your health? You know?
Okay, Max, what do you think?
I think that's perfectly wise right
Yeah.
there. After all the laughter, it is super wise to be able to say, can a man take fire into his bosom and not get burnt? Right? I mean, that's not me. That's a way smarter person that said stuff like that. No, the answer is no. The implied answer is absolutely not. And same thing there is like, something that was an addiction, addicts, you don't go back to like the mild addiction. You go right back to that deepest, darkest addiction where you were at when you decide to step back in there. And so if that was, I was going to say, if done correctly, if you do have a highlight reel back in your pack, then that might be an addiction that was really intense. And so to step back into that, even in imagination, might not be a real helpful thing for your new goal, for your common goal right now. I'm trying to be idealistic and perfect answers, then I'd say, of course not. I would never think. But we're people. I tell Kent, I'm a good man, but I'm still a man. Yeah. And so we're given to these things sometimes. I just think you just do your best to limit, certainly, because you can't erase it from your head. You can't say, "Oh, that's gone, and I never thought of it again." Well, I'm a person, and but it does you no good to dwell on those things. I guess I can leave it at that. It does you no good to dwell on them. Think about what good comes of that. Well, not a whole lot of good that comes of that.
Right.
There could be resentment, or there could be a dissatisfaction. There could be all of a sudden what I have isn't good enough. It's like, why would I want to feel that way?
Right.
I think it's kind of recontextualizing what that memory is. So very much along the same lines, you're not giving it the same category as romantic memories. You're giving it as like past experience memories that don't need to be connected to romantic ideas.
Right.
Well, the thing about it too is if you do engage in that, and again, public forum, right? You be real cautious with the words that I use as to not offend anybody. But at the same time, if someone does engage in those memories or shares them or they're chatting, talk about romanticizing an idea is going back there and saying, "Oh, this was so perfect. This was." You weren't in a committed relationship. You didn't get to the nitty gritty.
Right.
You didn't see the real person. You saw them.
Yeah, there's one way of looking at it.
You saw their Instagram highlight reel.
Yeah, a realistic moment as is, not adding a bunch of what could have been or future things or ideas and possibilities added to it.
I think that's where we found that's our idea
changing a fantasy version of what would really happen.
Letting the old relationship go is not adding to that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And kind of storing it in a different place now your romantic ideas are in your current setting and you're not applying those same ideas to an older setting.
Right.
I'm laughing at the idea of what Doc Tonum always says about. He says, "Yeah, sure, you haven't changed diapers and heard each other fart. At that point, you've done that. Now you'll have to forgive life for having different contexts now in this partnership that you've done these things together. You've seen them made. You first thing when you wake up before makeup and."
Yep. Bad breath and no makeup.
Right. And all of a sudden it's like this person that you might have dated in college or hooked up within college or whatever like that. All of a sudden it's like you never saw that.
Yep.
I had to deal with that, and then you're going to put that compared to, it's just it's an unfair thing to do to yourself.
Yeah.
And then to do to the people that you love.
Those are the levels, I think, that you see in Casablanca, though, of Rick's, quote, love for Ilsa is based all on the good parts, the good
Paris.
surface.
Yeah.
You know, their time in Paris together.
You don't got Facebook. You
But-
can't see the relationship. They're at this place now. Oh, that's how she looks now. Oh, that's who she's hanging out with. Oh, okay.
Who?
But then you have Victor.
from Son of a Mary.
But then you have Victor that has gone through all of that grit and actual life experience.
Yeah.
Together with her.
Like life and death.
There's no comparison between these
Oh,
levels.
look, they've been married. I can see all this now. You know, like, yeah. Yep.
Like you said, there's no comparison between the actual grabbing the rope together, you know, instead of just Paris.
Yes. Yep.
So, is it better to ground your perspective on relationships? And does that mean including cynicism?
Is it better to ground your relationships?
Ground your perspective on relationships.
Is it better to ground your perspective on
Rather than to
relationships?
romanticize them. Okay. Depends if you're talking about life or art, in my opinion. If you're talking about art, I don't mind having it romanticized. If you're talking about life, then I think it is better to have a grounded perspective on relationships.
So that's interesting because if life imitates art, imitates life, and we're watching this art on screen, then the same question then, you know, is it, should we be viewing realistic depictions of relationships
Well,
that include all of the bad stuff as well? Or should we...
I'll go back to my initial first episode, season 1, of why I consume film. I consume film. Not why I should consume film, but honestly why I do is it's an escape very often. I want a sterile version of something. And that might include, I want my irreverent, funny film to be irreverent and funny. I want my drama to be textured and dramatic. I want my horror to be slashy, slutty, and you know what I mean. I want it to be all those things, right? And so then, if I'm watching a movie, then I'm going to look at this arcane view of relationships. This horrible. If I'm going to watch American Psycho, I want to see some stereotypes played out. I want to see some, you know what I mean? I want to see that in the movie. I don't know if I'm making myself clear. So I want a grounded view in reality, but I want some romanticized characters in film so that, or in art, in songs too, so that I can feel a certain way. I can mount that anger toward them, or mount that bitterness, or pull for Jennifer Lopez and enough that I've seen, you know what I mean? Like, so I can pull for the good guy over the bad guy. You know what I mean? Or I can feel the texture a little bit deeper because, oh, you had a perfect marriage. How could you ruin that? You know?
Okay.
That was because it was romanticized. I was able to see that it was.
I would also say this. The only time I noticed it was when I watched. It's a cop movie. It's called Cop Movie. I know I didn't. The P wasn't as pronounced when I heard it in the mic.
It was Arrested Development, like share a
Yep.
nice hard cot together.
Bees.
Beads.
So you do that to your own brother? I said cot.
But it's end of. So get on track, you pervs. Listen.
Horrible.
So in End of Watch, it's two cops and they're handling all these calls and going through stuff, and I'm like, someone might see that maybe like throughout their entire career, not in a week. And I was like, oh, that's probably how like relationships in movies are. You're getting all the contact points. Mm-hmm. There's big stretches of time where nothing happened.
I see.
Me and the missus just did every regular day stuff, and then something happens and it changes, or we add or adapt or fight or fix. You know, like that's over a course of 20 years.
Yeah.
Where this movie has to show all the points in the relationship to keep the story
interesting
moving.
to me.
So you're missing the boring parts. Mm-hmm. You're missing the nothing happened here. You're missing the, hey, they sat quietly drinking coffee and ate breakfast without talking because someone was working on this, someone was busy watching the news.
Yeah.
You're not getting that part in a movie. You're
That's
getting
right.
You're getting where the conflict's occurring or where the points of contact happen.
And if the filmmaker is trying to tell a story where you're either the good guy or the bad guy, or she's either the good guy or the bad guy, you're going to get a heavy dose of context that leans that way.
Yep.
And so I guess my point is that if I'm looking at that story and I want to make you the bad guy, I better see some really vague generalizations.
Yeah, let's see the points of contact.
And which also would include romanticism about the poor, perfect housewife at home who's just being victimized.
Right.
You know?
If that's how she's supposed to be displayed in the story, and you want me to kind of side with one way or the other,
I think so. I think that's the way I see that. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm looking up like the one guy Theo Vaughn right now, kind of looking up like this, talking in the microphone, my headphones on. It's very late.
Crown Vic was the name of that cop movie, by the way. Tom Jane.
That was one too. I was thinking of End of Watch. But yeah, I know it.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen that one also. But yeah, same thing where it's like, oh, this one shift where they handled this and then this and then I'm like,
I remember jokingly asking you after we watched.
oh, okay. Did I say
Crown
the same
Vic.
thing for that one too?
I was like, you see all that? You're like, not in one night.
No, like, if you saw one of those things, you're like, I'm done for the night because I'm doing paperwork on it. Like, I'm spent. But I think I dealt with like 90% of that. I've never shot up a house to take a kid back and
take your own kid back.
That's what that was, right? Oh, it was
think
his
so.
own kid, yeah.
Oh, spoiler alert, by the way. Anyway.
That was a cool one, though.
So, do either of your takes, do you think that cynicism needs to be involved with how they display some of the negative things?
Do you mean if I have to be cynical, or if the character's being cynical?
The depiction that you're watching, does it have to be
like
cynical?
A cynical take on relationships?
In order for it to be...
realistic?
Yeah.
Oh, sometimes. I mean, was it 10 Things I Hate About You?
Yeah, I think
pretty cynical right off the rip.
I was right after.
As the kids would say.
That's a really good term.
6'7", am I right, guys?
No cap, fam.
I don't even know what to say. I mean, I always think it depends on what the story the filmmaker's trying to tell, right? For me, because I feel like I'm all over the place on this, but
right,
it comes back down to
the shrew has to be convinced otherwise.
Right. Yeah, exactly. What story is the filmmaker telling, right? I guess my point would be, and a filmmaker in the 60s trying to say the same thing that a filmmaker in 2026 is trying to say. Can they accomplish it? Can the 26 guy accomplish it? Romanticizing things without being so cynical or sarcastic, or yes, they probably can. And then can the filmmaker in the 60s or this Ward and Wally Cleaver, can they be cynical and sarcastic and say what they want to say? Yeah, probably. It depends what story they're telling, I guess.
Yeah. I
think it's based on context. If it's art, now in life, I might feel differently on both accounts. I might feel different life, whether it's in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 2026.
Yeah.
But as far as art, I think it's entirely based on the story that you're trying to tell.
I think it doesn't have to be there to be less true. Like Adventureland is one that came to mind thinking of cynicism, where she's kind of stuck with this other guy and he's in a relationship, yet trying to start this new relationship with Jesse Eisenberg. Is it Eisenberg? Mm-hmm. And what they have is almost like pure and fresh, new and honest. And what she has with Ryan Reynolds is a lot more like dark and hidden and almost painful, addicted kind of relationship they have. And so she's kind of stuck between these two people, not wanting to hurt one and not the other, but still kind of stuck in like the Elaine paradox, you know. But that one where you can see it becoming cynical by the end of it and kind of twisting it around, but that's also real, you know.
I feel like this entire episode is a Rorschach test that I'm failing miserably. I'm terrified to have it published. I feel like I'm going to be viewed lesser by everybody who hears it. And it's just from me not being prepared. I'm going to be honest with you.
No.
Part of it, though, is all three of us haven't. Part of it is all three of us haven't had to deal with relationship talk in years. Decades.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of it.
I just, in my head, I'm like, anyone listening is like, wow. Ooh, wow. I'm like,
wow.
I've turned the entire listening audience into Chris Walken. Wow. Oh, wow. Again.
I used to do a little Walken impression.
He said something again.
Like,
wow. Everybody.
Wow.
Wow.
Chair. I remember I used the word chair to try to get to him, and I used to feel I can't do it anymore, though. I lost it completely.
Wow. Every answer, I'm like,
wow.
Like, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, Mr. Vozly.
K-Max, you're quite a sociopath tonight. Thanks, guys.
Nobody thought that about you until now. Now they can't stop.
Maybe. I gotta say, people probably listening are like, yeah, we know that. Just this show isn't the proof.
Well, I think, K-Max, you mentioned what's the story you're trying to tell. So what's the theme you're trying to accomplish? What are you trying to tell the viewer about your subject? And I think more effective stories with relationships do it in a manner that stimulates your thoughts rather than gives you, here's how you should think. Show it rather than tell it, right? So when you start to get a little cynical, you get very judgy and you're kind of you're verbally telling the audience what to think or what your thoughts are and how they should think about a certain subject. So I think that if you're just, whatever your theme is of the story that you're telling needs to be told in a way that you're stimulating thought and you're offering different perspectives. So I think that it shouldn't be cynical. Like, it shouldn't involve cynicism. If there's specific examples that say opposite, maybe, I'll bring them back up, but I couldn't think of any that would be more effective if there was cynical.
Revolutionary Road. I don't know if anyone's ever seen that one.
Heard of it.
That one's Leo DiCaprio.
Kate Winslet.
And that one's pretty rough.
Because I think sometimes it has the opposite effect. If you see how cynical someone is, to me, I might be more, like, I may look at them and say, oh, they're not even open to another perspective. Why should I believe them? So it kind of has the opposite effect to me. And that might be part of your story too. That might be part of the
that's the 10 things I hate about you.
Filmmaker.
Well, because that's the thing. You can't just be cynical and not appealing to the audience at all. You got to have something else that comes in. Are you witty? Are you funny? Do you have these other characteristics? You're outgoing, cynical, but you have a fun take on things. Being really pretty, that will add to your appeal. That could get someone at least interested in the story, and then them coming out of it or having a character win them over where they no longer become cynical.
Right.
Could be the story. But if you're just outright cynical and you're not fun and you're not interesting, then you're just a villain, I guess.
Yeah, I think what I'm thinking of is like if the filmmaker from a thematic point of view is being cynical about a subject matter.
Oh, like how they're trying to get us to think about it?
Yes. Because a lot of the characters you see as cynical become that. They're either a negative character that you're trying to avoid anyway, or like a villain character, or they're someone that needs redemption or a different way of
what's your
thinking.
Thoughts on Nocturnal Animals? That seemed pretty cynical.
I viewed that one more as critical on people that value themselves more than their partners in a relationship and expect it to work. So, like Amy Adams' character is kind of called out for how much she didn't support Jake Gyllenhaal's character. And so I don't think it was cynical on relationships. I think it was critical of the people that are selfish in relationships.
But that still feels to me like, I don't want to use Forgetting Sarah Marshall, but where I'm like, yeah, that's his side of the story. Is that the true side of the story? I don't know. Is that the writer's side of the story? That's his jab back at his ex that he wrote about and made a story where their character wrote a story about how awful she was. That seems to me cynical, but I don't know.
Hint, hint, we'll have to revisit that.
We might have to go back to that. I'm in the mood for some more torture. Bring it on.
So last thing, so reframing this question, I guess mostly for Tin Man, because we discussed it again.
Kept having to step out, sorry.
So reframing this question again now. Is it good to romanticize relationships after this
Previous relationships?
almost 2.5 hour discussion?
Holy smokes.
Oh my goodness.
Is it good to romanticize relationships in movies?
Oh, man. For story's sake, I is it good for humanity to be consuming movies that have romanticized relationships in them?
You can view it that way too.
Is that a way to word it? Okay. I don't know. I guess it's how you consume it. I guess it's how you watch it. If you take this movie as like, I watch this movie and say, that's how a relationship should work. It might be negative for everyone that I date. But if I look at a movie and go...
expectations.
Yeah, but if I watch a movie and I go, that's entertainment. That's not realistic and can hold it in its correct place in my head. I think it's fine. But, how many people base their relationship off of how a movie worked out? See how their couple is together? That's how my relationship is going to be. I don't know.
Love Like the Movies, Avett Brothers. Song just nails it again. Another song, you want to be in love like the movies? Well, in the movies, they're not in love at all. They're just, with a twinkle in their eye, they're just saying their lines. So you don't want to be in love like the movies. And then the verses talk about that exactly. It's like
right.
the unrealistic idealization of one lover and another how come you don't love me like that?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever looked at a movie and was just like, that's how love's supposed to be. That's it right there in a nutshell. Why isn't everybody doing that? How Harry and Sally do it? Why isn't it? I don't know. I don't think. Are there people that look at the movies and go, that's exactly how it's supposed to work out? Because if that's what they're doing, then no, that's.
Here's the opposite I get though, is you get people in real life though that grow up in a broken home, that don't have a father, that don't have a mother, and their version of what a strong relationship is or what love is very, very gloomy, and they may not value love at all because of that. So if you see it romanticized in something like movies or like music or TV, does that give them hope of what love could be and what acceptance and belonging could be?
I know a couple people with some broken families. We ask them. Hold on, I got one on the phone.
You're like, I'll call my son.
I don't know. My son called me a Sigma today, and I was like, I think that's a good thing. Or are they fighting
tier.
words?
One of the two. You're either promoted or grounded.
Yeah.
Step into my office. Why? Because you're fired.
You're fired.
K-Max, what do you think after that?
Man, that's a tricky. Well, I think I think I answered it because I want to get away from it. And I do think that
Per my previous email.
Yeah, I know. Well, I like it. Yeah, I like it. I feel like it's a Disney type thing, right? So the movies with, the romanticize this and, this really exists and true love's first kiss and things like that. Those are big time romanticized ideals. I guess it's not a good idea to live in those worlds, but the world is just such a cynical and sarcastic dark place.
It's a dark place.
I don't mind that escape at all.
That glimmer of hope that maybe I could have that with someone.
Gosh,
There's got to be some piece of it that feels real enough, because if it wasn't, it wouldn't be entertaining.
Right.
Like if you got to be in that.
If I didn't believe it would happen, why would I care that he gets the girl? Why would
Right.
There's
got to be a part of it that feels like it's like this could happen, or else it's not. It would take me out. I'd be too distracted from this false, crazy story that didn't make enough sense. Right?
Which is such a weird thing.
Fall into this uncanny valley where it's too. Oh, it's almost real, but it's not, and it feels too weird that it's not realistic enough that I trust it. I don't know.
As I'm writing these questions down, it just makes me question myself again. Because I think it's okay to romanticize relationships in movies. It gives us hope and gives people that don't know what it's like or didn't grow up with it an idea of what is possible in a positive sense out in the world when there's so many people. You hear about violence and shootings and everything else.
Yeah, and why wouldn't we watch it if it wasn't something that was something hopeful and fun and entertaining and interesting? Yeah, that's what I want to watch.
Yeah. So, but it leads me back to my reflecting on myself. Though I'd be like, well, why don't I watch more Hallmark movies then, if that's the case?
That's where I say, where's the 20%, man? Where's the 20% of the difficulty, the struggle? The 20%'s got to be there.
That's
movie's sake.
So that's where I leave us right there is an open debate still.
It needs to have a little bit of something, a little bit of conflict, a little bit of contention, a little bit of struggle. It's got to have a little bit of the
textured edges for those puzzle pieces to fit in.
That's right.
All right. So I've kept you guys for a long time tonight. Making
us work for our
fame
jalapeno dip.
That's right. I did feed you guys.
Oh, that's right. Our jalapeno dip. That was
jalapeno dip and butterbeer coffee creamer.
Which was rare, by the way.
It is.
I had to kill 7 people for it.
Worth it.
Havana.
Worth that.
All right.
What's next on our to-do list?
So it's going to be a two-parter for the movies for relationships. The first one is Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Hey.
What? Out of left field.
So you thought we were done with rom-coms, did you? Well, we're not. But
classic.
We've been working up, right, in terms of feel good. I think we've hit a plateau. And you know what happens?
We've seen enough female nudity. We've seen enough female nudity in these movies. Time for some equality.
Are we recording it nude? I'm out.
You're out, huh?
No one needs to throw up. A day no pigs would die. Anyway.
What are you looking at me for?
Anyways.
Anyway.
Next episode, Forgetting Sarah Marshall. And I'm not going to reveal the second movie until after we're done with Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
All right.
Let me just throw this out. You can cut if you'd like. My friend Seth wrote a song, and it's called Love Like the Movies. Here it is. So you want to be in love like the movies. Well, in the movies, they're not in love at all. With a twinkle in their eye, they're just saying their lines, so we can't be in love like the movies. Now, in the movies, they make it look so perfect. And in the background, they're always playing the right song. And in the ending, there's always a resolution, but real life is more than just 2 hours long. So you want to be in love like the movies, but in the movies, they're not in love at all. Well, you can freeze frame any moment from a movie, or run the whole damn thing backward from reel to reel. But I don't see one single solitary light technician or one single camera in this moonlit field. I don't want to be in love like the movies. Because in the movies, they're not in love at all. But the twinkle in their eyes are just saying their lines. So we can't be in love like the movies. Love that song. It's just a simple little song. It's a little ditty. And I thought to myself, the idealistic view of a movie, it's like, yeah, but the fear is that if you try to conceptualize that and that's what you need for your relationship, it's not realistic. So you're going to be let down. So, I mean, yeah, by all means, for your art, consume the romanticized version. But in reality, realize you're not going to have perfect lighting every time you look at that significant other.
Yeah.
Give him some grace. And for crying out loud, give me some grace.